I left home at 1 so that I could get in town in time for the interview at 2. I get into this matatu that was going to commercial, right? Halfway into town, they use a different route. I asked them to alight, but they refused. The next thing I knew it, I'm down in Muthurwa. I asked those geezers, the conductor and the driver, to take me to commercial as I don't know my way well, especially in such an area. Anyway, long story short, I'm forced to get out of the matatu, figure out how to get to Koinange Street on my own. I get lost, I get my handbag stolen, I got splashed on water. I walk for 3 hours plus. I get to the company and I'm turned away. All this because of some stupid matatu driver who could not keep to his route. I've lost the chance of a lifetime. All this because of a matatu. So I start job hunting again, sis. It's not fair. I wish there was a way I could make them pay for messing me up like this.
Please calm down.
I'm not coming down.
So sorry.
KBJ 649.
That's the number plate of the matatu, right?
Yes.
Which route number?
33.
Joe, can you help?
Yes. Let's sue them.
Sue who? The driver, the conductor, or the owner? And for what?
We'll sue each one of them. We'll sue them for false imprisonment. We will sue them for lost opportunity. And they'll also have to pay for special damages, which of course include your ruined skirt, basically your whole suit, and your blistered feet.
Is that possible?
Yes, very possible.
You are suing the Matatu Welfare and Owners Association?
Yes.
Have this ever been done before?
No, it hasn't. Now, the association, the drivers and the touts have been running wild for the longest time. Many people have been suffering with their erratic and unprofessional behavior, and no one has ever stood up to them. Now, it's about time they became accountable for their erratic and very uncouth behavior.
We'll be setting a precedent with this case.
It might even get us more clients. People who are willing to sue.
That depends on how the case is ruled. But I like it. You go right ahead. I'm handling another sexual harassment case. Now, Elsie, since you did so well with the cubes and cycles,
I cannot count that as a case well handled. We lost.
It could have been worse. The plaintiff could have been awarded millions. In my books, you are exemplary.
Thank you.
I'm handing over the seat to you. Same drill. Seen a female partner harassing a male junior.
Well, that seems to be the trend nowadays. Woe unto the young man.
I know someone who wouldn't mind being sexually harassed.
Really?
Oh yes, certainly.
I can't imagine anyone enjoying any form of sexual abuse.
Strange world we're living in.
The file, Mr. Mwako.
Oh, yes, the file. Brief me on a need-to-know basis. Anything else?
No.
Good. Good luck with setting the matatu straight.
Don't worry. Their meetings don't normally take that long. They'll be long shortly.
No problem, darling. I will wait. Anyway, my phone keeps me busy. I'm a text freak.
I prefer Facebook.
Facebook is great, but it has its limitations.
Like what?
Like the person I'm chatting with is not on Facebook.
Valid point.
So any day, give me my phone.
Sorry for keeping you. Hi.
Hi, darling.
How you doing?
My phone was keeping me busy.
Good, no problem. Oh, hi. This way?
Okay.
Yeah, take care of myself, man. People have been known to throw caution to the wind. Well, you'd never find me doing that.
All rise. In the matter of Terry Soniga versus the Matatu Owners and Welfare Association.
Anyone involved in this case as a witness, please wait outside to be called.
Counsel, you may call your first witness.
We call Terry Soniga.
What faith do you profess?
I'm a Christian.
Place your right hand on the Bible and lift up your left hand. Do you swear by the Almighty God to tell the truth in matters relating to this case, the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
You were to attend a job interview at 2 p.m. at Dima Bank along Koinange Street on the 6th.
Yes.
You left home quite early, an hour early, and boarded a matatu, route number 33, so that you get off commercial stage and then you can walk on to Koinange Street. Yeah?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, how long have you resided in Nairobi ever since?
Just a month. I live in Nakuru with my parents. The interview was the reason why I came to Nairobi. I'm staying with my sister.
So it's safe to say that you do not know Nairobi very well.
I know the major streets. I know GPO, Kencom, Commercial. From there I can go to the major streets like Koinange and Commercial.
Now, when you boarded this matatu, KBJ 649D, Did you inquire about its last stop?
Yes, the makanga told me it was going to commercial Ndani.
And what happened after you boarded this matatu?
I assumed they would take the route they normally use, that is through Jogoo Road. Instead, they used another one. I inquired, but the conductor assured me that I would get to town on time. Usijali. We arrived in Isili. We found ourselves in a horrendous traffic jam. It usually takes me 20 minutes to get to town using a matatu, but this time it took me 1 hour. I complained and demanded to alight and take a taxi.
Did they allow you to alight?
No, the tout told the driver to drive on. We arrived in town, but instead of them going to the city center as they had said, they took me down to Mudhurwa.
Have you ever been to Mudhurwa, or do you even know where it is?
No, it was my first time. I complained to the driver and to the conductor as I did not know how to get to town. I demanded that they show me how to get to Koinange Street or Commercial.
And did they assist you?
No, they insulted me and physically pulled me out. Immediately they threw me out of the matatu, zoomed off. I was so confused. I didn't know what to do. I had high heels, a white suit for the interview.
Did you call anyone to help you?
I tried calling my sister. While I was waiting for her to pick up the phone, a man snatched my handbag from me. I screamed, but nobody came to my assistance. He was too fast. He got into an alley and got away. Therefore, I could not use my cell phone. I decided to walk towards the direction most people were walking.
And as you followed these people, did you get out of Mudhurwa and into town?
No, the people were going deeper into Mudhurwa, as I discovered later. I decided to stop and ask for directions. Before I could find somebody to ask, a matatu zoomed past me and splashed water that was in a pothole over me, all over me, from my head to my skirt to my shoes. It was dreadful. A woman who was going to the market gave me some tissue paper to wipe myself. I explained to her my situation and she agreed to walk with me to railways. She directed me on how to get to town and I got to a familiar place.
And as all this happened, you in your high heel shoes and wet clothes?
5-inch high heels, wet clothes, stained suit. It was an experience beyond my imagination. And that was not the worst part yet.
Did you manage to get interviewed, considering the fact that you are already late?
No. I got there, but it was 5 o'clock. I was 3 hours late, looking like a disaster. The HR manager did not even give me a chance to explain. She said my lateness with 2 hours and disheveled appearance was unprofessional, and she wouldn't consider employing somebody who did not value time.
And this was your third and last interview?
Precisely. I had passed all other interviews. I was scheduled to meet the deputy director. It was the final stage. The final stage meant that I had 30% guarantee employment. We were only 3 applicants left for the final stage.
30% chance of employment, which is what she lost. All because a matatu crew decided to change the route. Nothing further.
When you realized that you were late for your interview and you had no idea where you are, why didn't you call for a taxi?
How could I call for a taxi when I didn't know where I was?
I asked you a question and would like an answer.
I didn't know where I was, so I could not call someone to pick me up.
How did you know you were at Mudhurwa?
I asked.
So, you knew where you were?
I was in the process of calling someone when my handbag got stolen. I was scared to use my cell phone until I got to a safe place.
You said that the matatu took a different route from the one it was supposed to.
Yes.
They tell you why?
They said they were avoiding traffic jam on Jogoo Road.
So, it would be correct to say that their intention was to avoid the jam so that they could get to town faster. Please answer the question.
That may have been the intention, but it was misplaced.
I need a yes or no answer from you.
I guess so.
My lord.
Yes or no?
Yes.
That was not painful, was it?
Much obliged, my lord.
I asked, but they refused to let me.
You were scheduled for your third and final interview at Dima Bank, yet you placed your fate in the hands of Matatu touts, who are known all over the country for their peculiar driving habits.
I thought they would take me to commercial, as they said.
Even as they drove in a different direction, and you were running late for a very important interview. You were not turned away from the interview because you were late and disheveled. You were turned away because you failed to think fast and prioritize the important things. Nothing further, my lord.
Come in. What is it this time, Ambrose?
Habari yako kaka.
Don't kaka me.
Nilikuwa nahitaji hela kidogo tu kaka.
I have repeatedly told you to live within your means.
Maisha ni magumu kaka.
Spare me.
Mambo ni mabaya sana, hata watoto hawana maziwa.
Sometimes I wish I had not listened to my uncle about you, Ambrose. You've become a liability.
Lakini si kwa kupenda kwangu kaka. Ni hali tu.
Kwa nini hali yako huwa haibadiliki?
Na anayeweza kuibadili hali hii ni wewe tu kaka.
Oh, spare me. I've worked. Here. Don't ever come back to me for more money. Run your finances properly.
Nakushukuru sana. Nakushukuru. Mungu akuzidishie.
Get back to work.
Sasa.
Terry normally stays with you whenever she's in Nairobi.
Yes, she graduated last year and has been tarmacking since. After several job applications, she got an interview with Dima Bank. I took her for the 2 first interviews and dropped her back home. I assumed that she'll be okay on this 3rd interview.
Okay. Did she try to call you when she asked for her way after she got lost in Muthurwa?
Yes, she did. I saw her missed call at around 2 o'clock, but I was in a meeting. After I left the meeting, I gave her a call, and she told me that she was stranded and needed my help. I then asked her to take a taxi and come to where I was.
How was her appearance when you saw her?
It was pathetic. I don't even know how to start describing it. She was limping and she was walking barefoot. Her skirt was muddy and her hair was dirty, and it was a total mess. It was alarming.
Why were you so alarmed?
The incident about the matatu and her getting lost, it would be a huge risk to her. I mean, she was hijacked by some matatu crew and dropped in the middle of nowhere. What about if she could have lost her phone? How could she have gotten home?
Was it the skirt she was wearing on that day?
Yes, it is.
Okay. My lord, I'd like to submit this as evidence.
The same will be marked.
So, did you tend to her when you found her?
Yes, I did. I took her to hospital because I needed her blisters to be attended to, and also so that she can be given antibiotics.
Okay, thank you.
Do you use the matatu with Terry Soniga while she was new in town just to show her the ropes?
No, I didn't.
The first 2 occasions your sister had an interview, you took her. What made you feel she was okay enough to travel to town via matatu on her own?
Well, she knew the major streets of Nairobi. So if the matatu could have dropped her at Commercial, she could have been able to get her way to Koinange Street.
Do you use matatus?
Rarely, I have a car.
When do you use them?
When I want to go to town briefly.
They're convenient then.
Well, yes.
Is that why you allowed your sister to use the matatu that day, because they're convenient?
No, in this instant, the matatu was not.
The matatu crew wanted to get your sister to town as fast as possible. Is there anything wrong with that?
No, but they could have used the normal route, because if they could have done that, then they could have gotten to town on time.
How do you know?
I know because I've used a matatu, and when it uses the normal way, it gets to town on time.
So you say. Nothing further, my lord.
I'm not having lunch with you. My girlfriend Tara is coming over and then we'll decide. No, you're not joining us. Sorry, I'm having dinner with my son tonight. All right. Okay, listen, I have to go. I'll call you later. All right, take care, dear.
Habari Elsie.
Nzuri.
Sasa vipi nikulete kahawa au chai?
Kahawa tafadhali.
Okay, sawa. Vipi jamani?
Yuko njema, hana neno.
Msalimie sana. Na yule jamani nilikwambia yule alikuletea makuru kwa nishtue. Zile siri zake hazitamsaidia kitu.
Niko imara hata niweza.
Uwe na moyo huo.
Sawa.
Sawa, acha nikuletee basi.
Haya, asante.
Well, Faulu, you are the chairman of the Matatu Owners and Welfare Association.
Yes, that is correct.
What is the association all about?
We basically deal with the smooth flow of the matatus. Our work is to basically know the problems that are facing the matatu industry. For example, the pricing of the fare and also the smooth running of the organizations. We also deal with the paying of the touts and the welfare of the members of this association.
How about the enforcement of the routes matatus use?
Well, that is not within our control. That responsibility lies with the traffic police. It is their job to enforce this rule.
Do you have any rules and regulations in place?
Yes, we do. And we basically work with the police hand in hand in order for us to make sure that we enforce these rules and regulations.
Well, back to the case at hand. Terry Soniga was supposedly hijacked by Matatu KBJ 649D, Route 33, dropped at Mudhuru after the driver rerouted. Who ought to be responsible?
Definitely not the association. It is the work of the traffic police to ensure that matatus stick within the areas that they are assigned. It is not our responsibility. That responsibility lies with the traffic police.
So you believe it should not be on the dock?
Definitely. In fact, some matatus just take various routes that they are not assigned because they want to escape the harassment that they get from the police. If we were responsible for this kind of, for punishing and controlling these people who neglect their rules, then we would have to hire them on a monthly basis, make sure that they are registered and the type of work that they do. And also we would need for them to take the buses according to the levels of certification that they have. This is simply not the case. It doesn't lie within our control. It is to be controlled by the police, not us.
Thank you.
I'm getting a little bit confused here. You mentioned earlier on that the reason why sometimes matatus do not stay in their designated routes is because of police harassment. And you said earlier on also that police are the ones who actually enforce the same. Don't you think it sounds a little bit contradictory?
The only thing that is contradictory is the fact that every citizen and also the police expect us to control the matatu industry. But the same people who are supposed to be giving us a helping hand are the same people who are trying to destroy what we're trying to create.
What do you mean?
It is if a matatu is found with any fault, or if a driver is driving it recklessly, then that driver has to cough up a lot of money in order for him to avoid arrest. In fact, nowadays it is very hard to bribe a police officer. They take so much money, even for offenses that can just be let off with a word of warning.
Are you admitting to bribery?
Well, everybody knows what happens between the police, the system, the drivers, and also the touts. How are we, an association, supposed to streamline such an industry that is full of corruption? Let me tell you what happens on the road. A driver will try to escape the police by any means necessary because he knows that if he's caught, even with the smallest mistake, he will have to let go of his entire day's earnings. This will mean that that driver will have to go for more trips, so that he can at least compensate for the money that has been lost. More trips means more fast and dangerous driving. Do you see what I'm getting at? The process can go on and on and on.
In that case, then why is it that the matatus cannot be kept in tip-top conditions all the time?
If I was to inspect your car right now, I am sure that I would find some fault with it. There is no car that is 100% mechanically sound. That is why we take them to be serviced, so that they may at least be roadworthy.
You know, there is no excuse why the matatu owners, the touts, and the drivers will not be able to keep the matatus in, or their tools of trade in good condition, just to avoid, or rather to keep police off their back. There is no excuse whatsoever to deviate, change the course of the route, to rip off customers who have actually paid for a service, and yet they're being ripped off by this service. The buck stops with you, whichever way you look at it.
If we were given more powers, we would at least streamline this industry.
With the little powers that you guys have, what have you done with it? Any improvements?
We are trying to come together with one voice.
That's all, one voice.
We're trying to safeguard, to make sure that we take care of our communities, our matatu welfare.
What about the customers' welfare? Nothing further.
Kwani, there's no work to playing video games?
Wachana mimi. Look who's calling the kettle black. Kazi yako tu kushinda hapo ukiangalia kile mimi nafanya.
But I finished my work.
Me too.
You too? Na hizi files hapa nyingi ni za kazi gani hapa? If you finished your work, the desk must be clear.
Ambrose, I really don't need this right now.
Kwa unafikiri wewe nani hata unaambia maneno haya yote?
Go look for something to do. Keep yourself busy.
Watch out. Wewe ndiko kazi juzi tu.
So now, what will you do?
Just watch out. Hujui mimi ni nani?
Go look for something to do. Keep yourself busy.
Wote walifanya mimi ni adui yako?
Sijali.
Sawa, utajali.
Go look for something to do.
Utajali.
Keep yourself busy.
Oh, Robert Dalla, you're the driver of the Matatu KBJ 649D, plying Route 33.
Yes.
Were you also the driver on the day Terry Soniga went to town?
Yes, I was. I remember very well.
Why is that so?
Alikuwa ameng'ara smart sana. Alikuwa amedunga jo. Lakini kitufanya mkumbuke vizuri. Vile deadly ni matusi yake tu.
Your Lordship, I beg the court's indulgence. The witness will invariably use Shang language.
I am familiar with Shang language, Mr. Little. How old do you think I am?
Your Lordship.
I grew up in Islam, and you must know. Mimi ni chaluo mtaa.
That's awesome.
Okay, let's not get carried away. Continue, Mr. TidPix.
Thank you, Your Lordship. You said that what you remember most vividly are the insults. Why is that so?
Alisema tumemwest kupeleka Mudhurwa. Leo stage si yangu, tulikuwa na kanjo. Sasa tungedu nini?
Were you supposed to go to commercial stage?
Yes.
How did you end up at Mudhurwa?
Yenyewe hiyo ndio stage. Lakini watuja wengi au takatopeleka wapi commercial? Juu wasitembee kutoka Mudhurwa mpaka commercial. Tukua drop pale, so fanya ngafe? Favor. Sasa siku hiyo ilikopea tudu hivyo. Like sana nome ilikuwa ni moja. Masansi walikuwa wamejaa tao. Chuo zote sansi, kila mali sansi. Alafu na nome ingine sikuwa nimedunga uni. Na siku fulani nilikuwa nishakumbwa na makaa hiyo. Nikatoa tao ngapi? Tao 3. Alafu hafu tutao best yangu fulani tu. Deroma 3 akanisho nyati na mabest yangu wako tao, wako chuo zote. Sasa yenyewe kusema ukweli singeenda huko. Na kama nilivyosema hapo awali, Mudhurwa ndio stage halali. Kila mtu amegrow Nairobi anajua hivyo. Au unasemaje bro?
Did you tell the passengers that you were not going to commercial?
Makangangu waliwasho.
Then what happened?
Jogoro ndio imeshikana sana. Na kaenda kwa hivyo si kula machuom. Sasa tukapika chumi isili. Kufika isili kwa sababu ni noma zaidi. Pale motizi zimeshikana hata aziendi bana. Tupiga chuo mwanga ni masaa. Sasa tujaribu kusave time lakini ikakataa. Tungedu nini?
Why didn't you allow her to alight when she asked you to do so?
Sasa angeenda wapi? Na jam imeshikana. Angefika kesho jo.
When you reached Mudhurwa, what happened?
Manzi alianza matusi. Akaanza kupayuka susususu, nikamcheki nikaona huyu madam jo vile amedunga. Ni matusi yote kwa mdomo yake. Mimi nikashuka upole tu. Sister, ni aje? Si double miko. Siende upande kule commercial. Akaringa. Ningedu nini?
Let me get this straight. You told her where she can get a bus to take her into the CBD.
Kabisa.
Nothing further, my lord.
You said you changed the route out of the goodness of your heart so that your passengers can arrive earlier in town.
Sindio?
So I put it to you that you actually did that so that you can make many more trips, right?
Sasa, si ni biashara. Ukienda squad mob, unashika do mob pia.
So your real reason for doing that is so that you can make more money.
Sasa utakasemaje nikatae?
Just answer the question.
My lord, that question was answered.
I believe so, sir. Counsel, ask another question.
Much obliged. Your selfishness is what caused my client, Terry, to miss an opportunity of a lifetime.
Was there a question hidden somewhere? I certainly didn't hear it.
Neither did I. Mr. Kairu?
I'll rephrase it, my lord. I put it to you that had you not made the decision to change the route, my client would not have missed the interview.
Sasa angeenda wapi? Barabara liko imeshikana.
Are you a traffic policeman now? That you have all the updates of traffic in the city?
Sio lazima nikuwe karao, ndio nikueleze ma traffic updates. Siwanga na masignals zetu. Nikienda tao daira kirudi, tanyembe kama kuna noma hakuna. Kwani unafikiri si survive kivipi?
Usiniulize swali.
Wewe ni sonko. Huwezi shikanishaene, huwezi understand kitu.
Usinijaribu.
Huyu dem nilitry kumhelp, akaringa. Makosa yake nililete noma, sio sisi.
Nothing further.
Sawa, Eddy, ukisha mada unaweza dondoka. In other words, you may step down.
John Feloni, you're the owner of the Matatu KBJ 649D in question.
Yes.
You also employed Robert Dalla to be a driver.
Yes.
Do you control the routes he uses while on the job?
How can I? How this business operates is very simple. The driver picks the Matatu in the morning and returns it with the day's earnings of not less than 7,000 in cash, without any excuse. And also I expect my car to be in good condition and the fuel tank full. How they make the money, fuel the car, and maintain the car is none of my business.
So you have no control of what happens during the day while the vehicle is operating?
None whatsoever.
The chairman of the association said that a lot of bribery goes on with the police during the day because of minor traffic infractions.
The traffic police are known to harass Matatus because they are easy targets of cash. So why would I concern myself with issues that are beyond my control?
Would you fire a driver if he made a mistake?
I fire and hire drivers regularly. And the only mistakes that I can fire them for are 1, not bringing me the set quota of cash daily, and 2, damaging the car through reckless driving. The rest is purely none of my business.
Why are you not so involved with the nitty-gritty of the business?
There are too many players and vested interests in this industry. I am incapable of involving myself with everything and everyone. I let the rest be handled by the relevant persons.
So if they change the route?
It's at the discretion of the driver, not mine or the association.
Thank you. Nothing further, my lord.
Do you have children, Mr. Fulani?
Yes, 3 boys.
I'm sure they're normally very happy when they get together to play football.
Football is their passion. They love the Premier League, though I wish it was our local league that they cared for just as much.
So if one of your sons kicks the ball very hard and it goes the wrong direction and hits the window of your neighbor's house, would you pay for that?
Of course, yes. They have already broken a few windows and I've paid for them up front.
All right, for example, your driver has an accident and those who are injured sue. Who would pay for that compensation? You, the owner of the vehicle, or the driver?
In such a case, it would be the insurance.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. But, for example, the driver hits a wall or damages a garden, property belonging to somebody else. Who would pay for that? You, the owner of the vehicle, or the driver?
The driver, but indirectly through me.
How would you ensure that?
I deduct it from his daily wages.
How would you do that when all you do is fire and hire regularly and you pay your employees on a daily basis? Now, when your driver discovers that you're going to deduct money from his salary, then he better be with another employer. So when you pay for the damages, whether or not you are involved in the nitty-gritty of the business, at the end of the day, the owner should be responsible in whatever situation the car is involved in. The same way you paid for the damaged window, which was broken by your boy with the ball that you bought him.
The analogy does not fit.
It fits perfectly, Mr. Fulani. Nothing further.
Any more witnesses?
No, my lord.
Oh, my lord.
Okay, good. The court takes a 20-minute recess.
All right.
Wow, you are splendid. You actually own the courtroom.
Well, I was just doing my job.
Tell me, Joe, do you have a chance?
Of course we do.
So reassuring.
You have nothing to worry about.
You're buying me lunch.
Of course.
Sofapaka sacks Coach Matano. Brave Joey goes down fighting at Commonwealth contest in India. Hey. Cranes and KCC Uganda tactician Simbwa replaces veteran winner.
Ambrose, you're distracting me.
Wewe achana na mimi man. Achana na mimi.
Si basi usome kwa sauti ya chini.
Nitasoma vile ninavyotaka. Gor Mahia up against City. Bloggers Hail Mariga.
Ambrose, basi pole kama nilikukosea.
Don't look back.
Ambrose, I am sorry.
Unajua wewe unanaribia mudi zangu sana. Hata Mr. Mwako alikuwa anasitegea.
Basi pole, sawa?
Sawa, unajua wewe si kama Poli.
Kwa nini?
Unajua Poli alikuwa kazi yake ni kujipodoa tu, saa zote kujipodoa, kung'ara tu.
Well, it's nice to see the research was used effectively by some people. Now, where were we? Closing statements. Mr. Kairu?
Yes, my lord. My lord, matatus for the longest time have been out of control, and this is because of the business that they do. They solely are responsible for 80% of the road carnage that we have on our roads. The Ministry of Transport and the police have tried to control this unruly industry, but with very little success. Even the so-called Michuki laws are not being enforced anymore. The matatu crews have broken these rules and regulations with impunity. The matatu crews and their owners, they cannot be called to be accountable for their transgressions, which they unleash on this hapless wananchi. Now today, my lord, we have a witness who has decided to stand up for them and say that they have to pay for their transgressions. Their errant behavior cost my client an opportunity for a very good job, even her belongings. They have become a law unto themselves, doing whatever they please with their customers. Now, my lord, it is time that they be told that enough is enough. They have to follow the laws of this country like everybody else. This impunity has to come to an end, my lord. My lord, the arrogant driver displayed his arrogance to this court. He decides to change the route of his matatu to the detriment of his passengers. He forcefully drops my client in an area where she is not familiar. Now, the chairperson, the owner of the matatu, and the driver have all denied responsibility of what happened to my client, Terry Soniago. Now, it is time the court made them do so. Send a message to this unruly industry and tell them enough is enough.
The matatu industry has been said to be callous, unruly, even discourteous in the way they handle their customers. But let's face it, this country would grind to a halt without the vilified matatus. If they stopped plying our roads, the country would come to an end. For a moment. Let's put blame where blame ought to be. Terry Soniga was late for her interview out of her own doing. The matatu crew managed to get to their destination despite the traffic jam, and they showed her where she can get a bus to take her to the CBD. And she refused. She was not the only passenger in that matatu, but she's the only one who came out complaining and insulting the driver. Whose fault was it that she got lost and wandered for 2 hours till her feet were blistered? Whose fault was it that her handbag was stolen? Whose fault was it that she was splashed with mud from head to toe? Finally, whose fault was it that she was late for her interview? Certainly, my lord, not the driver, not the owner of the matatu, and most certainly not the Matatu Welfare Association. I rest my case.
Good. I will deliver judgment in 2 hours.
Hello. Can I speak to Esther? Hello, Esther. This is Mwako from Mwako and Company Advocates. I'm good. Did you receive my loan application for a small business loan? Good. I'd really appreciate it if you could expedite the loan, please. Good. Thank you. Hello. Good morning, honey. I hope I didn't wake you up. I'm good. The kids are great. We're all missing you terribly. Well, it's about lunchtime now. You sound so drowsy. All right. You call me when you wake up. I just wanted to hear your voice. Thank you. Bye.
In the matter of Terry Soniga versus the Matatu Owners and Welfare Association and others, I have appreciated the case advanced by both parties. It is a fact that a Matatu is assigned a specific route to ply and passengers board them on that basis. The passengers have legitimate expectation that the Matatu will keep to the designated routes. Changing routes for whatever reasons without the consent of the passengers is not justified. In the instant case, I find in favor of the plaintiff, as I am convinced that she was held against her will in the Matatu upon clearly stating that she wanted to alight and get other means suitable for her circumstances. This unfortunate incident may have cost her a job. For false imprisonment, I award her Kenya shillings 50,000. I also award a sum of Kenya shillings 200,000 as special damages. However, there is no compensation for loss of job opportunity, as the court could not ascertain that the job was awarded to her and was lost because of the lateness to the interview. The plaintiff will bear the cost of this suit. The court is adjourned.
All right.
My sister was right about you.
I'm flattered.
Now I see why she likes you so much. Thank you.
Don't mention it.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Let's go outside. Joe.
So how about Mara weekend?
Wow. As tempting as it sounds, I'm afraid and sad that I have to say no. I mean, you're taken. The problem with me is when I love long. So, what you're offering me is short love. And it's either I have everything or nothing at all.
It's your loss.
Joe, I have to admit, I am totally, utterly smitten by you. And yes, I'm single. See you, Casanova.